Hi everyone, this is Teague from Service Bro, and since the aftermath of Sandy and all the power outages, there's been a lot of requests on how to hook a generator up to your boiler so you can get heat and hot water. Before I start, just want to go over one thing that if you're not mechanically inclined, or if you're not a handyman type of person, or if you don't understand how electricity works, I do not recommend you to try to attempt this. You could always call an electrician and they might do it for you, but by no means is Service Bro liable for anyone who does not do this correctly. So do this at your own risk. It is safe. I have it connected to my house. I've been using it for ever since we lost power. So I wouldn't tell you something dangerous if I wasn't doing it myself. But just to let you know, there are risks if you don't do it properly, just like any other thing with electricity. So since I said that, let's go ahead and show you what I did here. Basically, this is for just to get your boiler running from a generator, so you can get hot water and heat. If you have an air handler, you might not get heat because you would have to wire up the air handler. This is just for an oil burner with baseboard heat and to get hot water. Take a look. First thing you got to do is go up to your panel, and the main switch, make sure it's off. Alright, you don't have any power coming in, but while you're working on it, you don't want all of a sudden the power to turn back on. The company, your local electric company, to turn the power on while you're working on it. So keep that main breaker off, and then what you do is take off the cover, and you're going to need to know where your burner breaker is. I have all mine labeled, and hopefully you do too. It's always convenient to know where every breaker is. Once you have the panel off, you go, and this is my boiler breaker. It's actually a double breaker here. The top one right here, this 15 amp, is where it was. So what I did, I'm not going to go through taking the whole thing apart and connecting it again, but if you see by the picture, this wire right here, which is the hot, black is always hot, and the white is always the negative, and then any copper ones you see are grounds. So this black hot wire connected right in there, just like this one is. So what you do is you unscrew that from your boiler breaker. So that's your boiler positive. And if you take a look, all I did was cut off a male end of, you can do an extension cord or an appliance. Just make sure it's on the tag here. They usually have tags or somewhere on the appliance. If you cutting the end of an old appliance that you're not using, they'll tell you what the wires are rated for. You're going to want to at least have like 1700 watts. What I did was I went to my boiler and I looked at how much it consumes in terms of electricity, and it said 120 volts at 8.5 amps. So that's, if you multiply 120 by 8.5, just off the top of my head, 100 times 8.5 is 850. So it's going to take a little over 850 watts. So your cord's got to be rated for that, because you don't want it to melt or cause a fire. Okay, so once you have that off, once you have this cut an old male plug off, what you do is connect the left side wire right here to the black, which, like I said before, came out of this right here. Connect it, and then you put one of the could put electrical tape, but try to have one of these caps, the electrical caps. And then the other wire, which is on the right side, goes right in any one of those slots that are open. You just use a flathead screwdriver, open up the screw, you slip the wire in. Just make sure you strip the wire so the metal's actually showing. Tighten it back up, and there you go. And then what you do is you run your extension cord. I have my extension cord right here. Make sure it's a pretty good extension cord. That it can, it's a pretty thick gauge wire, so it can handle. I mean, you're not drawing that many watts, but just, bigger is better. Take a look. On the left side is the positive. The right side is the negative. And that's how we wired this up. The left side is connected to the high. So basically what you're doing is you're bypassing the whole breaker box, which is good because you basically have your boiler just hooked up as a regular appliance. Like, in other words, your boiler has just a regular, normal connector on it. Now you're using the breaker on your generator, so that can still trip if it draws too much power. Now like I said, my boiler takes about 800, a little over 850 watts. My generator is rated for max 4,000, consistent 3,200 watts. So I got my generator can definitely handle the load. Now that's basically what you got to figure out. You just got to make sure you're running the generator. Don't run a 1,000-watt generator if your boiler is going to take 1,500 watts. It's not going to work. That's why I said, make sure you understand how electricity works before you do this. But it is pretty simple. It took me about a half hour to hook up. And that's about it. And turn the generator on, and you plug it right in, and you're gonna have heat and hot water. So if anyone has any questions before attempting this, feel free to post a message on Facebook, or even email us. You can go to servicebro.com, or go to Facebook/ServiceBro. We're there. We're also on Twitter. It's servicebro_com, COM. And feel free to ask any questions. All right. Hope everyone survived Sandy and is doing well. And that's about it. All right, guys. Thank you.